Hello, it's time for our midweek devotional, and I'm going to read one verse from the New Testament, Philippians 4:13. Perhaps you know it very well. It is a well-known verse, and you should know it by heart. I can do all this through him who gives me strength. In the King James Version, it says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. In the Contemporary English Version, it says, Christ gives me the strength to face anything. My dear brother, my dear sister in Christ, this is not a verse that teaches us that we can do impossible things, miraculous things like going from here to Japan in just 1 second, or fly away through the fields, because you can do all things in Christ. You have to see the context. Paul is saying that he learned to be content in any circumstance, be wealth or poverty. Even in prison, because this is exactly where Paul was. He was in prison. It doesn't matter what are the difficulties one is facing. I can stand all things. I can face all difficulties in Christ, who gives me strength. Sometimes we feel weak and unable to face adversities. But Christ is not an amulet or a talisman. It is a reality. It has to be real. Christ living within you. And then I can say, not I, but Christ. Not I, but Christ. And then you know that Christ living in you will give you the spiritual strength, the spiritual power to sustain yourself. You see, Paul's dependence was not upon himself. It was upon Christ. And that's why he could face the adversities, the tribulations, and could go ahead with his mission. Because sometimes we have a mission before us. Sometimes we have a task and we think we do not have the strength or the capacity to do what we need to do, what God is asking us to do. But we do have the strength, the spiritual power that lives within us. The person of Christ and his attributes, his humility, his love, his compassion, his wisdom. Not I, but Christ. Christ living within me. Then I can say and repeat every day of my life, I can do all things in Christ who gives me strength. Perhaps you need a healing, perhaps a relationship that is not going well. And you think there's no solution. Well, let me tell you something. Do not depend upon yourself to find the way through. Depend upon Christ who lives within you. Not I, but Christ. Find the solution in the strength of the spiritual vitality of the living Christ, the risen Christ who lives within you. And he will be able to help you in this situation as you put your ego down, as you let Christ shine through you, his wisdom, his love, his compassion, his humility. Because he humbled himself and he made like one of us, and he experienced all temptations and all difficulties that we human beings have. And he showed himself triumphant. Bless you. May Christ live within you so that you can say, I can face all things because of the living Christ that lives in me and gives me strength.